This message is not finding you by accident. It is not drifting across your screen by chance, nor is it meant for the masses in a vague or general way. It has been spoken in the Spirit that someone must hear this, and if you are here now reading these words, then that someone is you. Heaven has aimed this message like an arrow, precise and intentional piercing through time, distraction, and doubt to reach your heart at this exact moment. There are seasons when God allows noise, and there are moments when He silences everything else so one voice can be heard. This is one of those moments. Something sacred has been orchestrated for this second. Long before you clicked pause or felt the unexplainable pull to stay, the timing was already written. What feels sudden to you has been patiently aligned in the unseen. Heaven does not rush, and it does not miss. Divine timing is not hurried, but it is exact. And right now, you are standing inside an appointment that was set before you even knew you needed it. This is not emotional manipulation. This is spiritual alignment. There is a voice that has been crying out in the courts of heaven, a voice marked by love, longing, and authority. It is the voice of a father who has crossed from this world into eternity, yet has never stopped watching, never stopped caring, never stopped interceding. He does not stand before God pleading for himself. He stands there pleading for you. His prayers have not weakened with time. They have not faded. They have risen like incense, carried by love that death could not silence. And now heaven has answered. Perhaps you have already felt the signs. A dream that stayed with you long after you woke, lingering with a weight you couldn't explain. A sudden chill in the room when there was no reason for one. A familiar scent, brief, unmistakable, that pulled a memory straight into your chest. A song that brought tears without warning. These were not coincidences. They were not imagination. They were gentle attempts, moments when the veil thinned and heaven leaned close, trying to reach you before this hour arrived. Now the door is open, and God Himself invites you to listen, not with your ears alone, but with your spirit. As it is written, call to me, and I will answer you, and will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known. Jeremiah 33:3. This is one of those hidden things. This is a message carried across realms heavy with urgency, wrapped in love, and delivered on purpose. If something inside you feels stirred, if your heart recognizes the weight of this moment, do not scroll past. Still yourself. Let your spirit come forward. And as an act of agreement, not habit, not routine, but faith, type amen in the comments. Not for people to see, but as a signal to heaven that you are present, open, and ready to receive what God has ordained for you in this moment. As you remain here, something begins to change. The atmosphere subtly shifts, not with noise or spectacle, but with weight and almost holy stillness settling around you. It may feel like time itself has slowed, as though an unseen hand has pressed pause on the rush of the world. This is not imagination. In the Spirit, a quiet countdown has begun. Not a countdown of fear, but a purpose. A moment long prepared is unfolding now, and heaven is drawing near. In this stillness, it must be said clearly and without metaphor, your Father is here. Not as a memory replaying itself, not as a comforting idea, not as symbolism shaped by grief. He is present in a way that transcends what the natural mind can explain, closer than your breath, nearer than your thoughts. The veil between realms has thinned, and love has found its way through. This is not something you forced. This is something heaven permitted. And now His voice rises gentle, yet unmistakable, carrying the tone you recognize, even if the words feel new. He speaks not to startle you, but to steady you. I never left you, He says, not for a single second. From the moment He crossed over, His attention never drifted. He has watched every step you took when you thought no one saw. Every quiet decision, every moment you held yourself together when the weight should have crushed you. He knows the pain you carried silently, the nights when tears came without sound, the mornings when you rose because others needed you, even though no one noticed how empty you felt. He saw how often you were strong for everyone else, how rarely anyone asked if you were okay. He saw the betrayals you never spoke, about the disappointments you buried deep so you could keep going. And he saw the moment you almost gave up on yourself, when hope felt thinner than air. What you did not see was what happened beyond this world. You did not see him fall to his knees before the throne of God, pleading for your protection. You did not hear him speak your name with urgency, asking heaven to intervene when danger crept close, when despair circled quietly, when you were spared without knowing why. There were moments darkness should have overtaken you, but it did not. That was not chance. That was intercession. He wants you to understand this now, not to reopen wounds, but to restore truth. You were never abandoned. You were never forgotten. When your prayers felt unanswered, when silence met your cries, something was still moving. Angels were dispatched, not because you prayed perfectly, but because your Father stood in the courts of heaven and would not stop asking God to watch over you. And now, because the time demands it, because love refuses to stay silent, he has been allowed to draw near and speak. This moment is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to anchor you. Let his presence remind you that your endurance mattered, that your suffering was seen, and that your life has always been surrounded by more protection than you realized. Heaven has been closer than you knew, and right now it is closer than ever. As this awareness settles into your spirit, a deeper understanding begins to form, one that reframes your past through heaven's perspective. What you once labeled as luck, coincidence, or narrow escape is now being illuminated for what it truly was: divine covering. Your Father's role did not end when his earthly breath ceased. It shifted. He now stands as a guardian in the unseen, positioned not behind you, but before God, carrying your name into places your prayers alone could not reach. There were moments when danger brushed close, when outcomes could have gone another way, when a single decision or delay changed everything. You may have wondered later, why didn't that happen? Why was I spared? Heaven answers, now it was not randomness. It was not chance. It was not because you were stronger or wiser than others. It was because someone was watching from the other side of the veil and refusing to be silent. Your Father was interceding, crying out for mercy, for timing, for protection you did not even know to ask for. Every closed door that frustrated you, every path that suddenly fell apart, every redirection that felt like loss, some of those were not setbacks. They were shields. Heaven does not always rescue by removing pain. Sometimes it rescues by rerouting the path. And while you may have mourned what didn't happen, eternity was quietly celebrating what never reached you. The darkness did not win because it was never given permission. This is why it matters that you hear this now. Heaven is not only revealing love, it is revealing truth. Comfort alone would not be enough for this hour. The same God who wrapped you in mercy is now calling you into awareness. The covering that preserved you in ignorance is now asking for your cooperation and discernment. You are no longer being protected without your knowledge. You are being invited to walk with that protection consciously. Your Father's voice, steady and sincere, carries a new weight. Not fear, but urgency. Not panic, but purpose. He does not speak to alarm you, but to prepare you. Love warns when silence would cost too much. And heaven has allowed this message not because you are weak, but because what you carry is valuable. Guardians are assigned where destiny is involved. Let this settle deeply. Survival was not accidental. Your resilience was not self-made. The fact that you are still here, still standing still, reaching for light after everything you endured, is evidence of intervention. You were covered when you didn't know to ask. You were spared when you couldn't see the threat. And now, as comfort gives way to clarity, heaven gently presses forward. This is the turning point, the moment where reassurance transitions into readiness. What has protected you until now is about to teach you how to recognize protection for yourself. And as this understanding takes root, your spirit is being strengthened not to live in fear, but to walk forward with wisdom, confidence, and an awakened sense of purpose. As heaven continues to unfold what has been hidden, the tone shifts not into fear, but into focus. This is where love becomes specific. This is where protection speaks plainly. What is being revealed now is not meant to alarm you, but to activate discernment that has already been planted within you. The warning comes not as thunder, but as clarity, because God does not frighten his children, he prepares them. Your father steps forward, again his voice steady, but urgent, shaped by what he can now see clearly. He speaks of someone near you, a woman whose presence has never felt openly hostile, yet never fully at peace. She smiles easily. Her words sound supportive. On the surface, nothing seems wrong. But beneath that surface, heaven has seen what human eyes could not. Her heart has turned inward, and envy has taken root where sincerity should have lived. This is not said to stir suspicion toward everyone, but to name what your spirit has already sensed. He reminds you gently of moments you may have dismissed, the slight unease when she entered the room, the heaviness that followed certain conversations, the way your energy dipped after sharing good news. Those were not mood swings. They were not overthinking. They were internal warnings, quiet signals stirred by the Spirit, trying to get your attention before this moment arrived. Your father says, I tried to warn you then, not through fear, but through unrest, not through accusation, but through discernment. And now God himself reframes what you are hearing. This is not superstition. This is not paranoia. This is wisdom awakening. Discernment is not about assuming evil. It is about recognizing alignment or the lack of it. God says he placed a spiritual alarm within you, and it has been sounding softly consistently. You are not imagining this. You are remembering how to listen. So the instruction comes with calm authority. Set boundaries, not walls, but gates. Guard your heart, not because it is fragile, but because it is sacred. Reduce exposure where your spirit feels drained. Not everyone needs access to your thoughts, your plans, your healing process. Some conversations feel exhausting because they were never meant to carry the weight of your truth. Wisdom knows when to speak and when to stay silent. Hear this clearly: you are not being warned because you are weak. You are being warned because you are called. There is strength in you that has survived storms meant to destroy you. There is light in you that draws attention in both realms. What you carry is valuable, and value attracts both guardians and opposers. That is why heaven intervenes now. Your father's voice softens again, filled with pride. He sees the courage you showed when no one applauded, the restraint you practiced when retaliation would have been easier, the love you offered even when it cost you. Heaven honors that, and now heaven equips you. Discernment is not the loss of love. It is love guided by wisdom. This warning is not meant to shrink your heart, but to protect it long enough for what God has promised to fully arrive. You are not stepping into fear. You are stepping into awareness. And awareness, when guided by God, becomes one of the greatest forms of protection you will ever carry. As the warning settles, heaven does not leave you with instruction alone. It begins to train your spirit. Discernment is not learned in a single moment. It is refined through awareness, repetition, and obedience. What God is doing now is teaching you how danger reveals itself before it ever takes form. This is not about becoming suspicious of everyone around you. It is about becoming fluent in the language of the Spirit. Your Father speaks again, and this time his tone carries assurance rather than urgency. He tells you that confirmation will come not to confuse you, but to anchor you. In the stillness of night, when your mind is quiet and defenses are down, he will be permitted to visit you in a dream. It will not be chaotic or frightening. It will feel familiar. There may be a scent you recognize, a phrase only he used, a warmth that fills the room without explanation. You may wake with tears already falling, emotions rising before thoughts can catch up. When that happens, do not doubt it. That moment will be a seal, not a question, and you are instructed to respond. Not silently, not passively, but aloud. Speak the words, I hear you. I receive this. I am ready. Heaven listens for agreement. Words spoken in faith create alignment. This declaration is not for your father alone. It is for your own spirit, signaling that you are choosing awareness over denial, wisdom over comfort. The warning is repeated now, not because you failed to hear it, but because repetition builds recognition. The woman your father has shown you will come near again. Her presence will feel heavier this time, not louder. Discernment rarely shouts, it presses. You may feel a tightening in your chest, a sudden drop in energy, a shift in the air that makes you want to retreat without knowing why. These sensations are not weakness. They are your spirit reacting faster than your logic. This is how protection feels before danger is visible. God reminds you gently of his promise. My sheep know my voice. John 10:27. You are not learning something foreign, you are remembering something innate. The voice of God does not compete with chaos. It cuts through it. And the more you honor that voice, the clearer it becomes. It is important you understand this clearly. Guarding your heart does not mean hardening it. God is not asking you to become cold, distant, or closed off. He's asking you to become intentional. A guarded heart still loves deeply, but it loves wisely. It chooses when to open and when to wait. It does not pour sacred things into hands that have not proven they can hold them. This is spiritual maturity taking shape. You are learning to trust what you sense before you can explain it. You are learning that peace is a signal, and so is its absence. And as you practice this, your confidence will grow, not in fear, but in clarity. Heaven is not just warning you anymore. It is equipping you to recognize danger on your own, so you can walk forward, protected, steady, and fully aligned with the voice that has always been guiding you. As discernment sharpens and awareness deepens, heaven now reveals why this warning carries such weight. This is not about managing relationships or avoiding discomfort. This is about destiny. What stands ahead of you is not small, not ordinary, and not fragile. It is vast enough to attract attention in both realms, and that is precisely why protection has become so intentional. Your Father has seen what lies beyond this moment. He has been shown what your eyes cannot yet perceive, chapters written in eternity with your name inscribed in light. He has seen provision aligned with purpose, not scraped together, but released at the right time. He has seen peace that does not fluctuate with circumstance, a peace that settles into your life and stays. He has seen opportunities arranged with precision, doors opening not by striving, but by divine timing. What is coming is not random blessing. It is destiny unfolding. And where there is light, there is attention. Light attracts angels who are assigned to guard it, nurture it, and guide it forward. But light also attracts resistance. This is not a contradiction. It is a pattern. The brighter the calling, the greater the attempt to interfere. The enemy does not waste effort on what carries no future. He studies movement. He watches momentum. And when he senses alignment accelerating, he tries to intervene, not always with destruction, but with delay. This is the true goal of the opposition you are being warned about. Not to destroy you outright, but to wound you deeply enough that you hesitate, to plant doubt where confidence should grow, to cause you to question your worth just as doors begin to open. Delay can be just as effective as defeat if it convinces you to step back from what God has already prepared. That is why the warning comes now, before the blessing fully manifests. Your Father understands this clearly. His voice carries resolve. As he speaks his vow, I will not stop protecting you. He knows what happens if this interference goes unchecked. He has seen the ripple effect of a single lie planted at the wrong moment. A single betrayal allowed too close. And he refuses to let what is already in motion be delayed by something that could have been discerned. But hear this carefully. This warning is not a sign that danger is winning. It is evidence the time is short. The enemy presses when he knows he is running out of space to operate. He reacts when momentum shifts beyond his control. What you are sensing now, the intensity, the clarity, the exposure, is not regression. It is confirmation that you are moving forward. Your destiny does not hang by a thread. It is anchored in God's decree. But God honors wisdom. He invites cooperation. He reveals threats, not to instill fear, but to ensure that nothing unnecessary slows what He has ordained. You are being strengthened not to fight blindly, but to walk wisely. Your Father stands watch, not as a distant observer, but as an active guardian. His love has not dimmed with death. It has been sharpened by eternity. And as heaven continues to surround you, this truth settles in what lies ahead is worth protecting. What is coming is worth guarding. In this moment, this warning is not a disruption of your path. It is part of the divine strategy, ensuring you arrive fully whole and on time. As destiny draws closer, the atmosphere grows more charged, not chaotic but concentrated. This is the phase where urgency increases, not because control is lost, but because timing has narrowed. Heaven does not escalate without purpose. What you are sensing now is the nearness of resolution. The threat that once lingered quietly at the edges is approaching its peak, not to overpower you, but to reveal itself before it loses all influence. You are being given heightened sensitivity in this window. Pay attention to the subtle signs heaven has marked for you. A sudden shift in the air when certain words are spoken. A heaviness that settles without explanation. A sound that startles you into awareness. A sharp noise. The clink of glass. A rush of wind where there should be none. These are not omens of fear. They are reminders of presence. Signals meant to draw your attention back to discernment when distraction would be easiest. Your Father's voice returns with clarity and firmness. She will act soon. Not dramatically, not openly, but strategically. The urgency does not come from panic, but from timing. Her hesitation is ending because she senses movement around you. Doors beginning to open, alignment accelerating. And when momentum increases, exposure follows. Her next interaction with you may carry warmth that feels slightly forced, curiosity that lingers too long, kindness that presses for access. This is the moment to say less. Guard your plans. Guard even your joy. Not everyone who smiles at your peace can celebrate it. Watch reactions more than words. Truth reveals itself in what eyes do when good news is spoken, and what energy does when boundaries are quietly held. You are not being asked to confront. You are being asked to observe. Wisdom often wins without a single argument. God speaks now calm and unshaken. He could remove the threat instantly, but He is doing something greater. He is training you. Discernment matures when it is practiced, not when it is bypassed. If every danger were removed before you recognized it, you would remain dependent on rescue rather than strengthened in awareness. This season is teaching you to see clearly before harm can form. You are not alone in this. Angels are actively stationed along your path, not as symbols, but as sentinels. They are redirecting conversations, closing doors, diffusing attacks before they reach you. Some of the tension you feel is not because danger is increasing, but because it is being intercepted in real time. Heaven is working ahead of you, and through it all, reassurance remains steady. The battle is already won. This escalation is not the enemy gaining ground. It is the enemy losing space. His movements are desperate because his window is closing. God's plan does not unfold in panic. It unfolds in precision. So walk slowly, speak thoughtfully. Trust what your spirit registers before your mind explains it. You are not being tested to see if you will fail. You are being positioned to move forward, wiser, stronger, and fully protected. Divine control has not wavered. It has never been more active than it is right now. As the intensity begins to ease, something remarkable happens. The weight that once pressed in with urgency starts to lift, and in its place, hope rises. Heaven does not leave you suspended in tension. Warnings are never the destination. They are the passageway. Now God shifts the focus gently but unmistakably from protection to restoration, from vigilance to vision, from guarding to gathering. The Lord reveals what this season has truly been preparing you for harvest. Not a small return, not partial relief, but a fullness that restores what was strained, delayed, or withheld. This is not about surviving another battle. This is about stepping into the reward that follows obedience. God does not warn merely to prevent loss. He warns to prepare you to receive without interference what He has already ordained. Scripture comes alive in this moment. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Psalm 23:5. Notice the order. The table is prepared first. The presence of opposition does not cancel provision. It highlights it. What once sought to wound you will now witness your elevation without the power to stop it. This is not revenge. This is vindication. Quiet, undeniable, complete. Your Father's voice changes as He speaks of what lies ahead. The urgency softens into joy, not fragile joy, but joy anchored in certainty. He has seen the moment when the heaviness lifts without explanation. When you wake up and realize something has shifted. When peace arrives, not as a temporary feeling, but as a settled state. He has seen emotional healing, where wounds once lingered, spiritual clarity, where confusion once clouded your steps, and circumstantial breakthrough, where doors once refused to open. And the blessing will not arrive the way you expect. God delights in surprise. It may come through a message, an invitation, an opportunity you did not pursue, because you didn't know it was already pursuing you. It will feel sudden, but it will not be rushed. When it comes, it will carry confirmation, an inner knowing, a deep alignment, a sense that heaven has just spoken again through action instead of words. Your Father encourages you here. Do not let caution steal your joy. Awareness is not meant to make you tense. Discernment is meant to make you free. Walk wisely, yes, but let hope walk beside you. Let expectation rise. Celebrate quietly if you must, but do not shrink back in fear of what has already been disarmed. This transition matters. It marks the end of watchfulness driven by threat and the beginning of readiness shaped by promise. The warning has done its work. Protection is in place. And now restoration steps forward, carrying everything this season was designed to release into your life. As the message settles from revelation into reality, heaven now brings it down into the rhythms of your everyday life. Spiritual encounters are not meant to remain abstract or distant. They are meant to reshape how you walk, speak, and choose in ordinary moments. What you have received is not a call to heightened anxiety, but to steady awareness. There is a difference. Fear reacts, awareness observes. And God is teaching you to move through your days with quiet attentiveness rather than constant defense. Walk in this awareness gently. When something in you hesitates, do not rush past it to be polite or convenient. Honor the pause. Spiritual intuition often speaks in moments of stillness, not urgency. That brief check in your spirit, before you respond, the sense to wait, before sharing the pull, to remain silent, even when words are available. These are not obstacles. They are guidance. Heaven often protects through restraint more than action. As you practice this, build boundaries, not out of bitterness, but out of reverence. Bitterness builds walls to keep pain out. Reverence builds gates to protect what is holy. Your peace, your vision, your healing process. These are sacred spaces. Not everyone who wants access is meant to enter. Boundaries set in wisdom do not harden the heart, they preserve it. You are not closing yourself off from love. You are creating room for the right connections to flourish. Guard your peace as if it were holy ground, because it is. Notice where your energy drains and where it is restored. Pay attention to conversations that leave you unsettled versus those that leave you strengthened. Peace is one of God's primary indicators. Where it lifts something is misaligned. Where it settles, heaven is present. You are allowed to choose environments, relationships, and rhythms that protect this peace without apology. At the same time, prepare your heart for goodness. Awareness is not meant to make you cautious toward blessing. Do not let past strain convince you to expect disappointment. Emotional preparation matters. Practice gratitude not only for what has arrived, but for what is approaching. Allow yourself to imagine joy without bracing for loss. This is how the heart learns to receive. Stay attentive to the small confirmations, subtle shifts in atmosphere, moments of clarity, unexpected calm. These are the ways heaven continues to guide you. When the blessing arrives, and it will meet a heart that has already been trained to recognize alignment. Live this message quietly, but intentionally. Speak less where your words are mishandled. Share more where your spirit feels safe. Let awareness become your rhythm, peace your compass, and expectation your posture. This is how you carry divine wisdom forward, not as a moment remembered, but as a way of living that keeps you protected, grounded, and ready for everything God is unfolding next. As these words reach their final movement, heaven invites you to do more than listen. It invites you to respond. This is not the kind of message meant to fade when the sound ends. It is meant to be sealed, anchored, and activated in the spirit. So now, we move deliberately into sacred ground, a moment set apart where revelation is covered in prayer and destiny is entrusted back into the hands of God. Wherever you are, allow your heart to become still. Let distractions fall away. This is an altar moment, not defined by a place, but by posture. And in this stillness, we begin with gratitude. Holy Father, we thank you. Thank you for drawing near. Thank you for tearing the veil and allowing truth to reach us with clarity and love. Thank you for the warning that protected the revelation that awakened, and the love that never stopped pursuing us. We acknowledge that this message was not sent to frighten us, but to preserve us. Not to burden us, but to prepare us. Lord, we ask now for discernment that remains sharp and gentle at the same time. Teach us to recognize your voice above all others. Help us honor the pauses. You give us the checks in our spirit, the moments of restraint that keep us aligned with your will. Place a hedge of divine protection around every life receiving this prayer, around their homes, their conversations, their decisions, and their future. Station your angels to guard what you have declared sacred. We declare restoration in every place where weariness once lived. We speak peace where tension lingered, clarity where confusion tried to settle, and strength where endurance was stretched thin. Let there be a holy exchange, ashes for beauty mourning, for dancing heaviness replaced with garments of praise. Where trust was shaken, rebuild it with wisdom. Where hope was delayed, let it rise, renewed. We receive joy, not fleeting joy, but rooted joy. Joy anchored in obedience. Joy that does not fear tomorrow, because it knows you are already there. We declare that what you have written will come to pass untouched and undelayed. Let every plan of the enemy scatter like dust, and let every promise you have spoken take root and bear fruit in its appointed time. We seal this prayer in the authority of Jesus Christ, trusting that no word spoken in faith returns empty. What has been released from heaven is now established in our lives. Amen. And now, as this sacred moment draws to a close, your response matters. Do not leave silently. If this message has resonated with your spirit, if you sense heaven's nearness, even now, make your declaration. I receive this in wisdom and truth. Let it be your agreement with God and your resistance to every distraction that would try to steal what has been planted. If you have not yet subscribed, do so not out of routine, but alignment. Stay connected to what strengthens your discernment and keeps your spirit alert. And remember this, as you move forward, stay covered, stay discerning, and above all, stay listening. Heaven still speaks to those who are willing to hear.